And there it is, hot off the presses. I have done it. Finally, this is the first successful concept of something that I wanted to experiment with. It goes inside of one of these. It was a lot harder than I thought. If you know, you know. And if you want to know, you can head on over to my Patreon. I've opened that up for everybody. I'm closing down the website. I'm not renewing it. It'll exist, but it won't be, you know, in its full .com format, because I wanted something that was more accessible and made more sense for me and for anybody else who finds this channel. If you don't know, I produce documentaries, little mini documentaries on inspiring stories and the struggles of various inventors and makers throughout history, because I think that's a great source for all of us to learn the lessons and to discover really the mindset. And that's going to be the topic for today's video. The mindset is everything. And a lot of people in a lot of professions will tell you that. You could be the most talented artist or the most skilled electrician or whatever, but if you have a negative, toxic mindset, you're not going to be unlocking your full creative potential, which I talked about in the last video. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. So today I want to kind of react to somebody who's been on YouTube forever, like for a long time, and really took YouTube by storm and helped to kind of shape YouTube into what it is today in some form. However, this person is not doing that great. And if you haven't guessed, it's your boy, Boogie2988. Ladies and gentlemen, he has released this video that I think, and I'm not trying to bag on the guy. Look, everybody has their life, right? Everybody has their experiences, their upbringing. They say in psychology that like 40% of your makeup, your personality and your reactions to the physical world are due to your environment. I don't know if I agree with that, but the environment has a huge impact on the way that we make choices in life, right? And one of the most motivating factors in your life can be adversity and hard times. I know it is for me personally. So, I mean, the most basic thing is if you don't have money to live on your own or pay for rent or eat, you're going to do what it takes to get that. But not everybody chooses to do that. And that's kind of what life is. It's just, it's a video game, and you're here, you're the main character in your own little video game world, and you have choices to make, and those choices have consequences. I don't know if you've already seen this, but I have some things that I'd like to say about his mindset right now. His mindset is not good, and it's kind of the antithesis of what I'm trying to tell you on this channel. I'm trying to kind of awaken that mindset, that creative mindset, which is a positive one. Anyway, without further ado, let's get into what Boogie has to say for us. You're in for a real treat.
Creators finally quitting YouTube. I've determined that after 17 long years, I'm going to leave. Hold on a second. Hello? Let me take this. This is my account. 1 second.
Okay, so like I would have done something like this a few years ago too, because my stuff's cringe. If you haven't seen my older videos, you'll know what I mean. I don't know, like I thrive in an actual social setting. I don't do that well in front of a camera. If you can't tell, I'm very awkward in front of a camera. But I taught kindergarten. I was the face of a business over in South Korea, and I was running all over the place, entertaining people of all ages. But this is a bad skit.
Oh, yes. What do you mean I can't afford to leave YouTube?
That reminds me.
Oh, so I don't have millions of dollars saved up? Right.
And
I don't have a huge back catalog of videos that are still being served in the algorithm? Oh, and I'm not just...
Okay, so you can already sense he's kind of coping and seething. So his response, the reason why he put up this video, if you don't know, he's kind of upset that certain YouTubers who got into the YouTube game later than he did are doing really, really well. In fact, they're having their own families, they're very busy, and you know, their careers really took off and they were successful. So he's kind of mad, but he had his chance. He made good money, I believe. I've watched so many documentaries about him. And the gist of it is he had a successful YouTube following and career. He still has 4 million subscribers right now, but he's not doing anything with it. And I'll tell you in a minute what I think he should have done. My personal opinion. Okay, who am I, right? Well, I used to have a brand with my face. Literally, I have photos of it. I can share it with you all later on my Patreon.
Just handing the channel off to somebody else so that they can continue to make me money.
Do you see the cope? Do you see the seed? Damn, man. He's mad. Like that expression, he's mad. And I mean, we've all been there, but just listen.
Well, I'm excited to announce that unlike everybody else, I'll be staying on YouTube. God. If you
What are you doing, Boogie? I mean, we know what you're doing. You do what you're always doing, but why are you so negative? Like, why are you so mad about being on YouTube? YouTube was a hobby, right? And this camera. YouTube was supposed to be a hobby, and it turned out to be a money-making opportunity if you wanted to. And you don't have to get only ad revenue. But one thing's for certain, I've learned this the hard way, just like everybody learns it the hard way. You have to really keep up with the times, and you have to stay relevant. But most importantly, I've seen people with terrible video quality. They're using their phone in, you know, some hot, you know, humid environment. Like, you know, it's all foggy, the camera and stuff. But what they're doing is they're putting out themselves, and they're either relatable, likable, or inspiring. And that's all you have to do. And I think he got his audience because they thought he was that. But over the years, we've seen, especially with the recent amazing documentary, it's a little different. He spent all his money.
If you were paying any attention, though, you're going to notice that a ton of YouTubers have started off 2024 by just quitting. Either quitting what they're doing or quitting altogether. Most notably, and as of the recording of this just today, we saw Matt Pat hit the eject button. The dude is done.
Okay. I don't know who that guy is, but I mean, you could see, look at Boogie and his camera in his little room right there. And look at the other guy. The production quality is significantly different. And what's hard for me personally is niching down to something that's relatable and has, you know, a wide appeal. That's like the biggest struggle for all of us. And the advertisers are there for certain niches and for certain quality of content, right? So even people with smaller channels have had success in making a career out of it because they're doing a great job either selling, promoting, or captivating their audience. There's a lot of things that go into this. I remember when he was doing his Francis videos way back in the day. I'm watching it. And that was like something that was funny. It was unique. Somebody, you know, he was doing something interesting. He was doing a character. He should have ran with that character, really.
And by the way, I saw some snarky guy on
and updated his presentation.
Twitter say, "Why does every YouTuber feel the need to announce that they're leaving?" Everyone feels that need, dude. Have you never been to a retirement party? Have you never put in your 2 weeks notice at your job? If you left your mom's basement, you'd hear about.
Whoa. He's so mad. You could just see it. And he's also reading like script notes. I have a hard time with that, but I do it when I do the documentaries, which I just completed and uploaded a documentary on the slap bracelet. Where is my slap bracelet? Here is a slap bracelet. Okay. This is a fascinating story, and it talks about the hardships that the original inventor went through. Hold on. Speaking of hardship, just got to make sure it hits it just right. We're good to go. All right. So the inventor, Stuart Anders, he has a fascinating story about what it's like to come up with a very simple, novel idea and working the challenges and the risks involved in working with other people and competing with products that are released to the market before you even have a patent. So I definitely recommend you check that out. Link in the description below.
About these things, trust me. Then you got other YouTubers like Tom Scott, who, I mean, his videos are absolutely fantastic.
Dude, pumped out content. I never watched this. I never watched his stuff, but I respected it. He was traveling the entire world, like doing all these science videos. It's not my forte. It's not what I like to watch necessarily, but I mean, I think a lot of kids grew up watching his content because it was, family friendly, and it's just really easy to watch and informative. People like that. It was a simple format.
Who just, oh my God, top of their game. They're going out on top. But why are they quitting? When you first start,
I don't watch every Meat Canyon video. The first one I saw years ago freaked me out, and I clicked away from it. I was like, I don't like the gross stuff, but he's really good at it. He's really good at that cartoon stuff.
Making YouTube videos, you are driven by one thing, and that is hope. Hope that you can create a career out of it. Hope that you will entertain people. Hope that you can make some.
Not everybody. He's totally excluding all the people who are just uploading just to upload. Like some people just want to share their life. Some people just want to share what they know. Not everybody's trying to make it into a career. That is a monumental task. It's really difficult. It takes a lot of work and failure.
Something amazing. But when you quit your job and make YouTube a full-time gig, you're motivated by a whole other thing, and that's fear.
I disagree. And he's reading the script. Look at his eyes. I disagree. You should never be motivated to do this out of fear. This should be something that you're like building a body of work. This should be your body of work. This should be like your portfolio. Treat it like people used to treat Instagram. YouTube is great at, it's like an exhibition of what do you have? What are your professional like presentation skills and things like that. And all you have to do is get that positive mindset. Again, check out that previous video I made.
Fear that you're going to earn enough money to survive doing it. When you choose to make
Then
the
you
thing
should
you
be
love
doing
your
it.
job, it can be a good thing, but most YouTubers who become their own boss find themselves in this self-made hell where they're
Hell? Bro, you just need to get a normal job. He used to run websites, apparently. Not family-friendly websites. Go check that out. Tom Dark, Turkey Tom, he has a great in-depth documentary about that.
constantly pushing themselves to make more money, to make better content, to hire
printing
more
well.
people, to expand, to get
Oh,
bigger, to
wait a
just
minute.
feed that old crazy
Yeah, it's
algorithm that makes us all insane.
Always gotta
And
check.
here's the crazy thing about being a
Okay, so I think I heard this. Oh, who was it? I think it was that girl who does all those like millions views shorts, or somebody. I don't know. I watched a few videos recently, and whoever said it, they said, or maybe Mr. Beast said it. Swap out the word algorithm for audience. I think Mr. Beast might have said it. It's probably something that a lot of people talk about. The algorithm is your audience. So, I mean, the advertisers aren't going to throw away money if the audience isn't there for the advertising, right? That's what the algorithm is doing, is it's looking at the response and, are they getting their money's worth for throwing money YouTube's way, which then comes our way, right? This guy's, the self-entitlement is just off the charts, like off the charts. And, we've all been there. We've all had these moments where we're very frustrated. We put in a lot of effort and we don't get much in return. And then we have to talk with ourselves. We need to sit down and be like, am I really putting out what I could do? Am I really, you almost have to like be in a meditative state. Like you just empty your mind and you just do it. Like when you're doing art or drawing, you get in that right brain mode where you're just doing the art. And if you get in the way, that's when your art starts to suck. And that's why I can't draw. But I can do some 3D sculpting in VR. Stay tuned for that.
YouTuber, if you do more work, it doesn't necessarily mean that you'll make more money. If you work at a normal job with a wage or even a salary, and most of the time you do overtime, you'll probably get extra pay. But on
Wrong.
YouTube, you spend that extra time making.
I used to stay after. I've been working since I was 12. I did newspapers when I was 12, and after that I worked in a pizza restaurant when I was 14. I was getting like $15 an hour rolling pizzas, and I would stay until like 1:30 at night. And some of the time I wouldn't get paid extra, like that. They would like cut it off. Anyway, I worked my ass off because I wanted to work my ass off. I wanted to build my work ethic. Like, you'll get paid eventually, or you'll move on to something better if you're building your work ethic. If you're not and you're complaining, then you just need to get out of there.
More videos, and that video gets demonetized or doesn't perform well in the algorithm, or your audience just doesn't like it, you'll probably end up earning less money. That's why you see in the case of Papa Meat, he's gone from making these really intense, incredible animations to doing commentary videos instead. And the reason,
And he's going to give the reason. He already knows the answer.
It's pretty obvious. With the amount of time and effort it took to make one of his animations, he can make like 1 million commentary videos.
And make a lot more money, and it's more digestible for his loyal fans.
Complete with sponsors, by the way, so you absolutely know that low effort content is going to make him more money. I mean, if we learned anything in 2020,
it's not low effort. I set up this camera, I have a light here, and I have a light back here, and I have my amazing new design printing. I am sweating. I just took a shower. I was going to work out. I decided not to because I just wanted to get this done. You should see the list of swears that I was spitting out like hot fire, just trying to get all this set up. I don't know, but I pushed myself to get it done. It's not low effort. You're not just turning on a camera. Like, you have to plan the topics and you have to look that stuff up.
23, we learned that the algorithm likes it when we do basically what Sniper Wolf does. So
No.
I think Meat Canyon and everyone else should just go
I used to
on
watch
doing
her
that.
stuff.
In the case of Matt,
I watched like a bunch of her content. Like, I was on vacation. I just binged a bunch of it because I was curious. Like, she's making good money. I was like, what is she doing that's working? And I studied. I'm not into that kind of content. It's for kids, right? It is garbage for adults, thinking adults, but for kids, she's doing what the kids are going to watch, and she knows that. A lot of people do that, and it's smart. It depends on what you're trying to do at the end of the day.
At Pat, we see somebody who actually loved what they were doing and kind of hates quitting. But what he said he didn't like was the infinite amount of work that he was doing because he became his own boss. And
doesn't he have like a family? I think I looked it up, and he has like a family or something. Why is Boogie so condescending? Why is he so toxic about this? If that guy worked his ass off, and if you're working that much, chances are your family is also involved in the work somehow, or they're suffering, right? Like, he's just so mad, and he just keeps looking at his notes. I'll try not to do that in the future, by the way. I don't have notes. I'm looking at my screen.
that's a very dangerous thing. When you're a motivated person with ambition and you like working, oh my God, it's all you'll ever do. And Matt's in a really safe position too, because he owns multiple.
Well, Boogie, you complain about your health. Watch that documentary, by the way. Not mine. I forget who made it.
Bruh.
He complains about his health problems. Life is short. Like, you of all people should know this. Life is short. Maximize that potential. Stay with me.
Multiple channels, multiple companies, and he's leaving people in charge
lot of
of
work.
those things.
The dude looks young too. Like, he's like sacrificing his youth for what, like 10 years to do that stuff, to make videos. I sit in this chair and I'll like design stuff in FreeCAD, like 3D printables. Like this amazing skull face right here. Okay, this guy is awesome. All right, I like this. I'm very surprised at the way it turned out, and it took a lot of work to get it just right. By the way, you can check that out on cults3d.com under Kimchi Studios. I also have it on Patreon. So if you become a member of my Patreon, it starts out at $5 a month. I have a certain amount of slots for $5 a month. You will have access to every 3D printable that I post on Patreon, and you will be able to download them, and you are authorized to sell them as physical prints. Not the digital files, but you may print and sell these to your heart's content. I don't care. Okay, that's what you get for joining my Patreon.
So that, he can continue
And stories about my life in Korea.
to make money while hopefully taking a well-earned rest. I have no bad blood for Matt. Matt, enjoy it. You deserve it. In the case of Tom Scott, you've got somebody with a huge back catalog that will continue to be fed by YouTube for years to come.
Okay, so then he doesn't have to do it anymore. Like, the dude's, look, his hairline's receding. Like, we've all been there, okay? The guy, like, he's like going gray. And he's been doing this forever. Like, why does he have to keep doing it? This is like, this is toxic.
Because they are in that edutainment sphere that YouTube loves so much. And Tom was hiring tons of people, making incredible videos and traveling across the world to get it done on a weekly basis. I can only imagine how burnout that guy has to be. Again, deserve your break, Tom. Enjoy. Then there's the interesting case of Joel Haver, who has been making weekly comedy videos for a long time, and he's decided to go a completely different route with it. Joel decided that he's not motivated by anything other than his own creative desire, so he stopped making weekly comedy videos and is now going to make monthly feature-long films.
Why not? You remember the Angry Video Game Nerd? He made that movie. Right? That took a lot. I remember I watched his original stuff. His stuff is so awesome. The Cinemassacre stuff. James Rolfe. His videos were so fun to watch back in the day. That's an artist. He loves filmmaking, and he wanted to make a film. And even if it wasn't, your favorite film, he still did it because that's what he loves to do. A lot of us are doing certain things on YouTube, not because they're the number one thing we want to do. Maybe we want to do too many things like me. I like to explore different mediums, and 3D printing is my favorite at the moment. It's just a lot of fun. And you can see your concepts pop out right away. By the way, I also made this emoji coaster set complete with case. You can also have access to this, and it has 8 different emojis. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I can barely count. So you have 8 of the classic emojis. Okay, this is the mind blown, and yeah, the mug really does sit on top perfectly well. I designed that for you because I love you. All right, I'm not a nerd. I just really surprised myself. I've been through a lot of hardships, but it's okay. We get over it. Trust me. Okay, you'll be happier, and you'll have a great time if you subscribe to my Patreon. I guarantee it. So that'll be on the Patreon as well.
That's a crazy
Please, Boogie,
person,
enlighten
but I
us.
love that kind of crazy. But I think all of these YouTubers have one thing in common. I think when they started their careers, they started with hope. And I think as they're ending their careers or changing what they're doing, they're changing it with hope. These creators no longer feel the fear of feeding the algorithm or fear of feeding.
I have to say something. So a lot of those guys are spending more money, and they employ people. They're responsible for feeding those people's families. Boogie is not. Look, I'm a one-man show here so far. As far as I know, Boogie is as well. And that's fine. That's great. If you're a one-man show, that's amazing. But this is the king's dilemma. We studied this in an MBA class. And if you've been to a normal business class, you know about this as well. So there's like this chart. It has 4 quadrants. And it, as you can either be the king and have total control, or you can decide to give up a little bit of that power as you invite people to your business or your company. So you sacrifice power for more potential profit. I mean,
feeding their families or paying the people that work for them. They are hopeful that their next project can do all of that, but without the insane grind that YouTube wanted from them. They now have and deserve the freedom that came with their wealth and with their success, and they deserve every second of it. I know everybody's dream is to be, a successful YouTuber like Matt Pat or Meat Canyon or Joel.
Not mine. I don't want to be a successful YouTuber. I want to be a successful artist.
Haver or Tom Scott, but it's not everybody's dream to do the work it took them to get there. I mean, just take a look at how burnout and miserable Mr. Beast says. Me
getting this, look at my old videos, right? The information is awesome. If you're into electronics and coding, I have like the most niche, nerdy, terrible videos, but the information is gold. It's really hard to find. I'm pretty proud of that original video that I posted. It was shortly after I got back to America, and my English is still not as good as it used to be, but I'm pretty proud of that video, and it's done really well. I think it has over 20,000 views, and it's like super niche. So go check those out.
He is in every single.
I will be covering more electronics in the future. I just had to really learn how to make some shapes out of plastic. We'll make some cool stuff.
interview, you'll see.
Subscribe. Stick
I
around.
bet 2024 is the year that he sets down the camera. I would not blame him for a second.
Mr.
The
Beast,
takeaway here
really?
is you should expect to
Boogie, Francis. Forgot his real name. Steven, you are wrong. I don't think Mr. Beast is stopping. He's still young. Like, why would he stop? If anything, he's only going to do, I think he likes to entertain. And it's hard work, and he's just going to keep entertaining, man. Like, why would you stop? Like, I'm not an Elon Musk fan, but like, it's like telling Elon Musk, like, hey, look, one company's enough. I don't know how he does that. I don't know what to think about him, but like, imagine telling Elon Musk, like, that's enough, bucko.
to see a lot more successful YouTubers bowing out or at least changing the way they do things in 2024. The way a lot of us do YouTube,
Yeah.
It's fun and goofy and still quite hopeful, but to create the high quality content that they made, to get the views they got, to make the money they made, that's a soul crusher.
No, and it shouldn't be. And if it is, you have to pivot. I talk about this in other videos. I talked about in my Garrett Morgan documentary, the first free black man in his family, and he was one of the most successful inventors and product designers and businessmen in early American history. It is fascinating what he's done. He invented and used his own gas mask. He was freaking Batman. Check that documentary out. I'll have it linked in the description as well, and at the end of this video. Oh man, Boogie, you're just so wrong. I disagree with everything you've said.
And I wouldn't wish it on anybody, not even my worst enemy.
Not even your worst enemy, huh? What would you do in your life if you didn't have work? Like, what would you do? You would just sit around and turn into some sort of blob. Like, what do you want to do all day? Play video games? I love video games. I love single player, story driven video games. I love it. Right now I'm playing Ghost Recon Breakpoint, and I can't stop solving the little puzzles and running around. The game loop is awesome. The game is beautiful. But I have to put it down, you know. I got to do work. I got to produce stuff. I got to figure out how to make better videos, you know. Life goes on. And I got to go to the range, you know. I got to practice my skills, and anyway.
But God bless you guys, and thank you for the content. I know most of us, if we had put in their work, had their money, and were in their position of life, you'd probably do the same thing. I'd like to think I would probably go the Meat Canyon route.
Really? You would? You?
Or the Joel Haver route, and just change the way I do it and try to have more fun with it.
Why don't you? You've been on here for what? Almost 10 years? 10 years? Why don't you do that, Boogie? Why don't you pivot? It's time to pivot. You should be doing tabletop gaming videos. You should be solely invested in tabletop gaming. Don't you like tabletop? Like the Magic. If you watch the documentary, he like tries to sell his Magic cards. I've played Magic on PC, and I love it. Like, I just, you know, I saw it as like a money scam, you know, they come out with stuff and it makes the old stuff kind of, you know, not as good. And, you know, it's a collectible card game, whatever. I still have the original Star Wars, the trading card game. Got it downstairs in the basement, or in the garage. That's what it's called. Yeah, it's good stuff. It's in like mint condition. Anyway, he should be doing tabletop gaming. He would be good at it, and he would love doing it. I think like he could make his own little tabletop thing, and then just have a camera pointed down at the table, and then maybe even pay somebody, like somebody who's new at, you know, filmmaking, or you know, somebody local, like hire somebody local to come in and do some camera work, and you throw them some money, and they can do a lot of that work for you, and then ask them to edit it, or ask somebody else to edit it. I mean, he's just got like all these years on this platform, and he's got the golden play button in the background, and he's just complaining, surrounded by toys in the background. I don't understand this mentality.
Though I
It's not a
imagine
positive
Matt Pat's
mindset.
living his dream of being a family man right now, and that seems pretty damn good too. Having watched all of these retirement videos, I'd like to think the lesson to be learned here is fairly simple. The fun is in the journey and not the destination, right? The retirement or being on top of your game or making all of that money or that monthly or weekly grind that these guys were under, that's not the fun. It's the beginning. It's the build-up. It's
Boogie, I recommend you get some green tea.
It's not the plateau.
That'll make you feel better.
And I can speak from personal experience. It certainly ain't the decline. So whatever journey you find yourself on today, I hope that you take the time to stop and smell the roses.
Oh, he's almost done.
Be kind to yourself. Be kind to the people you work with. And be kind to others. And just remember that
he's doing the bit again. He's pretending to be the nice Mr. Rogers, I'm your neighbor guy. He's done this over and over again. But what have we learned over and over again when he was demanding money for a Tesla? He's just coping and seething. Look, I'm only going to take just like 2 more minutes. Promise.
Whatever journey you're on right now, that's the real payoff. As always, guys. Thanks for watching.
Okay, that's enough of that. That is a perfect example of what not to do. And that is the opposite of what we're going to be doing on this channel. We're going to be fostering our creative potential. I'm going to show you how to do that in different mediums. I have another documentary that's been kicking my ass. I've been working on it. I love making videos. I haven't been making a lot of videos because I knew my old videos and my content and my niche was a little too not so good. I love electronics, but it just wasn't working. So I decided to pivot, and I've done 3D printables, and it changed my freaking life. And it can change your life if you listen to your inner self and really foster that creative potential. Start listening to yourself. You know, like shut everything out and just start doodling, start sketching, start writing down your ideas of things that you want to make. And I promise you, you're going to be able to make them in some form or another. We're going to cover how to design 3D printables in multiple ways. I use a VR headset, a very old VR headset. I love this thing, the old Oculus CV1. And I also do it in FreeCAD with a mouse and keyboard. It's free. And I'll be showing you guys how to do that on this channel. And like I said, I have my Patreon, link in the description. And I use Elegoo Neptune printers. I use the Elegoo brand. I think they're a very good budget brand. They have great auto leveling. These are the the Neptune 3s. And now I understand they have updated versions that are even better, but these are fantastic. It is a bit of a learning curve to get involved with 3D printers. If you're using CNC machines, whatever, it doesn't matter. I encourage you to get started and have a positive, healthy mindset and just see the world for what it is. Just start looking at shapes and don't be negative. Don't pretend to be positive and like a toxic fake positivity like that. Yeah, don't do that. Anyway, stick around. Check out my other videos. Thanks for watching. Like and share, subscribe, leave a comment. Let me know if you have any experience with a positive mindset or anything that you've been working on. I'll see you in the next video. Stay grounded.